and that's all you need. So I told Bernie that he needed a celebrity to open the show, and I suggested someone like Tim Fisher. He said, no mate, you'll do just fine. So thank you very much for the honour and privilege of saying a few words here about streamliners. For me, I'm just I'm a rail enthusiast in the broader sense. I'm also a rail photographer, a writer. I used to be a community activist for railway, and also at one stage I was the lobbyist for the rail industry. But these days I'm just a bloke who likes hanging around trains, taking photographs of them, and being with people who have a like mind. So what I'd like to do right from the start is the first things first, and that is to say, let's give a huge round of applause, but just wait, for the guy or the man who's responsible for travelling to Goulburn this weekend, but not only for the bloke, but also his wife and partner, who's been great support for this whole adventure, and without her, wouldn't have either. So to Bernie and Trish Baker, big cheer, big round of applause. Well done. Fantastic effort. Okay, Bernie's had this dream for a very, very long time, I must say 15, 20 years. About getting as many streamliners together as you could possibly do before they were all cut up and that kind of stuff. And really, a lot of people have dreams, but it takes a lot of passion, a lot of blood and guts to actually get something like this up and happening. And also a hell of a lot of persuasion. In Bernie's own words, and I'll read straight from his website, like many, I've developed a passion for these old diesels. Cutting my teeth on them when I first joined the railways in 1982, and that included the B classes, 61 and 65 that I get today. Since then, I've moved on to sell the railways, so it's time to get the classes together while we still can. Now, Bernie acknowledges the influence of streamliners at Spencer. Quite a challenge in the wind. Held by the North Carolina Transportation Museum in June 2014, and this event showcased 26 examples, and what's really good is we've got 20 examples here at Streamliners 2016. Just quickly, events like this don't happen without a whole lot of people putting their hands in their pockets and helping out both in cash and in kind. So Bernie's going to say a bit more about the sponsors, but I'm just going to run through them very quickly. Firstly, the platinum sponsor, Southern Short Haul Railroad. Just give them a round of applause. Without them, it wouldn't have happened. Other platinum sponsors. Gold sponsors, I'll list them all and then we can give a big round of applause. SCT, Oxygen Models, Pacific National, Trains Magazine, Precision Models, CFCLA, Genesee and Wyoming, Arthur J. Gallagher Insurance, Kennard's Hire Goulburn, and Steve Malpass Design, and Steve's great artwork, but also the fantastic livery on V61. Let's give everybody a great round of applause. The event has also been proudly supported by Lachlan Valley Railway, Motive Power Publications, Goulburn Australia, and you name it, embroidery. And a special thanks to Goulburn Rail Heritage Centre for this venue. Another round of applause for all of these. Thank you very much. And there's also a whole team of unsung workers who've helped get the locos ready for this big party. And
well done,
so great work for the volunteers. A big round of applause for the volunteers who've got the locos looking so fantastic for this weekend. Okay. Mustn't forget also that the proceeds from the weekend are all going to the Starlight Foundation. So please give generously, buy the raffle tickets, buy the merchandise because the proceeds are going to a great charity. Okay, so let's quickly wind back the clock to 1951, and to misquote our Prime Minister, there's never been a more exciting time to work for the railways in Australia than in 1951. It was a pivotal year in the history of Australian railways, and the reason why we are here 65 years later to celebrate those events. Now, as kids growing up in the 1950s, there's probably a lot of you here, boys especially, we dreamt of streamliners. All our little books had pictures of streamlined buses, trains, cars. They were everywhere. So the coming of these new powerful mainline diesels really spelt the end of the dominance of steam, particularly on the Commonwealth Railways and once the GM locos were on the job. In the second half of 1951, two classes of mainline diesel locomotives entered service, and both of them vie for the prestigious title of being the the first streamlined diesel locomotive to enter mainline service in Australia. Now that was that on standard gauge or on broad gauge? That was a question that's often in dispute. Now there's often been lots of rivalry between the states about the firsts of this, the first of that. But what is not in dispute is that the honours go to South Australia for the first diesel streamliner into mainland service. Now, a lot of people, again, this is a contentious issue, but I'm going to stick my neck out and say that in Adelaide's Islington Railway Workshops, the SAR were very busy building the very first 900 class Lady Norrie, which was a huge English electric diesel modelled on true Webb style in the American tradition of the big Alco PA1. Now, meanwhile, over here in New South Wales, at Granville, at the Clyde engineering plant, the former South Australian Railways Chief Mechanical Engineer, Fred Shea, was busy adapting an American EMD F7 loco for Australian conditions to run across the desert for the Commonwealth Railways, the GM1s or the F-Class. Now, it's a matter of history that Lady Norrie beat GM1 to the title of the first streamliner to enter mainline service, revenue service by a mere 8 days. And you know, that was 65 years ago, almost to the month. So there have been streamlined locos before, notably the famous 3801, the big green New South Wales things that having its boiler fixed at the present. There'd been the dashing VR S-Class, and the Vic still regret that not one of them was preserved, and of course the very elegant South Australian Railways 520 class. But nothing these steam locomotives really could compare with these new diesels that were about to hit the rails. So today we're here to celebrate these locomotives, but not only the locomotives, but the people who designed them and built them, but as well as those who drove and maintained them, because everybody was really, we need to thank all those people over the history of time. Now, remarkably, 3 of the locomotives here this weekend are still active in service after 64 years. We've got GM10, B61 and B65, and there's probably 1 or 2 others that are not on my list that have turned up as well. Now, they're all almost as old as I am, but they're capable of doing a whole lot more work than I am these days. So I know that some of you are going to be a little disappointed that your favourite loco didn't make it here to Goulburn, but be assured that Bernie did all he could to get all these locos here, as many locomotives here as absolutely possible, but some of them were always going to be out of reach. Now, just to give you a little bit of history of this event, when this crazy idea was first being discussed, when Bernie took a few of us into his confidence about this event, we did say to him, look, put in an ambit claim, Bernie, in true to AFU style, and go for broke. Don't say no, put out your wish list, and just simply go out there and ask the question, because if you don't ask, you don't know what's possible. We just basically said to him, the barriers will turn up, so give it a go and see what happens. So it would have been nice to see the Pilbara Railways Historical Society's Mount Newman mining EMD F7A 5450 here, which was for the Americans here. There was a former Western Pacific Railroad 917A. That was on the list. We also thought it would be a good idea to get a Queensland Railways 1250 class English electric. That would have been nice. And also would have been nice to get one of the 900s over here as well. And also maybe a 930 in original SAR colours. But some of these were a bit too far out of reach. Now, my first photographs of streamliners or bulldogs were taken as a youngster visiting Melbourne's Spencer Street station when we lived in Adelaide those days, and sometime in the early 1960s. So for me, it's a big disappointment that the VR blue and gold were a late withdrawal from this event, but at least we have a lot of other former Bs and Ss here. Now, on the bright side, the generosity and support of the streetliners made the sponsors. Actually, I'd like to say a lot more about why some of these logos aren't here, but